everybody, it's Miss Amy at the Grass Valley Library. Welcome to Random Acts of Science. I need a little bit more space for this one today. We're going to be programming with Legos. So we are going to create a maze and then program our little character to go on through that maze. If you haven't already gotten a bag from the Grass Valley Library, you can come and grab one. On the outside is a QR code. You can scan that. That'll take you right to this video if you need any help as you're going along with it when you do get a chance to do the experiment on your own. So inside the bag, you're going to find a set of instructions that's going to help you walk you through the project. On the back side of those instructions, there are additional ways to make this harder. So if you can master the simple part of it, and maybe that's as far as you want to take it, that's great, but you can take it a couple steps further too and really challenge yourself to learn how to do a little bit of programming in a very analog way. Also in the bag, you're going to find a set of Lego bricks. Hopefully there'll be enough there to do whatever you want to do, but you can definitely use what you have at home as well and make your whole maze into a really great creation. Also in the bag, you're going to find one Lego figure. These are random. I have no idea what you're going to get. I have Harry Potter because that's what we had here at the library. So that's what we've got in the bag. From home, you're going to need a pair of scissors. And if you have Lego board, like one of the flat sheets for building on, that might come in handy too, but you definitely don't need it. In fact, you don't need Legos at all, but it's kind of more fun to work with that. So, alrighty, let's get started. Okay, so in that bag, you're going to find a sheet of paper as well, or a bunch of papers. There's a whole bunch of things here that you can cut out and work with to create your code. But they're simple commands. These are commands that you're going to use in the maze. They're commands that that programs and codes are made of in computers. They're all made of simple step-by-step commands. So we've got go forward, we've got turn left, turn right, we've got some more complicated ones, and so on. And then you're going to find some mazes in your bag. Yours is going to be different than the one that I'm going to work on today in front of you, but you can choose a maze, and then also in the bag is going to be just a blank sheet of paper with the grid on it, and that's where you can design your own maze and play around with this as much as you like. So let's get started. So programming is creating a sequence of steps that a computer is going to use to complete a task. So we're going to practice that today by using Legos and a maze and creating a set of tasks to get our guy through the maze. So the first thing you're going to do is choose one of the mazes from the stack that we sent you. You can use this maze just as it is, or you can cut it out. Cut out all the white parts and the gray parts, and the white part is going to be the maze, and the gray part is going to be the part that you're going to cover with Legos, and that's going to create walls around your the path and confuse the person inside of it, and help you kind of imagine that you're the person inside the maze trying to get out. So you can cut that out, or you can use it just as it is. If you cut it out, then you can lay it on top of the green on top of the Lego board if you want, and then you can go ahead and build around it. So that's what I did here, and you can do that on your own as well. I didn't spend a lot of time doing it, but I can imagine that you could have arches and animals and all kinds of really fun things going on. So that's kind of a fun way to do things. So let's get started and figure this out. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your Lego guy at the start of the maze. I'll hold this up a little bit for you. And you're going to have to figure out what steps does this guy need to take to move along through the maze and get to the end. And to do that, you have the choices that we talked about earlier. You can move forward, you can turn right, you can turn left, and then there's some other more complicated ones, but we'll just stick with the simple ones for now. So that's the first step, is to figure out what he needs to do, or what the person needs to do. Cut out those tags from the sheets of paper and put them in order down the side of your map. So I'm going to do that right now. So the simplest way to program this maze is to tell your guy step by step how to get through the maze. So let's do that together. We're going to set him on the start box, and we're going to tell him to go forward 1, 2, 3 squares. So go forward, go forward, go forward. So 1, 2, 3, and then we need him to turn right. So we're going to find the turn right. That's going to be his next one. And then once he turns right, he needs to go forward again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to have him go forward 5 times. Not that far forward. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to have him turn left. And we have to pretend like we are the guy in the maze. So it might not be left to you, but we have to think about which way he's facing and get him to turn that way. So he's turning left. And then he's going to go forward for 4 more squares. Let's see if I can move all this up so we get the whole version of it here. And when he gets to that 4th square, he is going to end. So that's the easiest way to do this. So if that seems easy enough to you, then that's terrific. And once you get all of those commands laid out in one long list, go find an adult or a friend or a sibling, give them the Lego character, and have them see if they can get through the maze following the steps that you've laid out. You might want to do it yourself first and just make sure that it's going to work the way you think it is. The next step is to think about loops. This is kind of the next level of codes. So instead of going forward 4 times in a row, so instead of using the command of go forward, go forward, go forward, go forward, turn right, you could simplify that command into going forward 4 steps and then turn right. So the command that we're going to use for that is this one. It's 4, 3 steps. You can write in however many steps you want your guy to go forward. So let me show you what this maze might look like with that kind of, with those loops in there. All right, now we're going to condense this code as much as we can. So we're going to start out and build some loops. So in this case, we want him to go forward for 3 steps. Instead of saying go forward 3 times, we're going to say for 3 steps and then go forward. And then to end the loop, you have to use the word end. Otherwise, he'll just keep going forward 3 times and 3 times and 3 times. So we want him to go forward, and then we want him to stop, and then we want him to move on to the next command. So in this case, just like before, we're going to want him to turn right. And now he's going to go forward for 5 steps. We'll use the go forward command. We're going to end it. Once he gets there, he's going to turn left. And then he's going to go forward for 4 more steps. And then he's going to end. Whoops. And that's it. So that's a lot less code than the first time we did it, right? Well, thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you had a great time learning how to code a little bit. Spend some time, make your mazes really cool, invite your family and friends to try out your code, and join me next week for another episode of Random Acts of Science.